Good evening and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Smriti Rastogi with India Votes, and before we get started with the bulletin, a quick look on the top headlines. Campaigning for the 7th phase of Lok Sabha polls comes to an end. Heavyweights scramble for last-minute rallies across 7 states. TMC moves Election Commission against Narendra Modi for raising allegations against Mamata. BJP condemns TMC's statement on Modi. Bitter war of words continues between Congress and the BJP over Vadra land deal video. Parties exchange heated remarks over the row. And a Jharkhand court rejects anticipatory bail to BJP's Giriraj Singh for his controversial remarks against Modi's critics. Campaigning for the 7th phase of Lok Sabha elections ended today. The fate of candidates in 89 Lok Sabha constituencies and assembly constituencies will be on test on Wednesday. Among them will be the leading lights of the two main national parties as well. Here is a look at this report.
Campaigning for the 7th phase of the Lok Sabha elections ended today. 89 constituencies in 7 states and 2 union territories will go to poll on Wednesday. It will be the 4th largest phase in the 9-phase election exercise. Voting will take place for all 26 seats in Gujarat, 17 seats in the Telangana region, 9 in West Bengal, 14 in Uttar Pradesh, 13 in Punjab, 7 in Bihar and 1 each in Jammu and Kashmir, Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Besides the Lok Sabha seats, 130 assembly constituencies in Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal will also face elections on 30th of April. Campaigning also ended today for the assembly elections in Andhra Pradesh and the other states that are having by-elections. Many big leaders are in the fray in this phase. The BJP's Prime Ministerial nominee Narendra Modi will face his electoral test in Vadodara on Wednesday. Amritsar sees a battle of heavyweights between BJP's Arun Jaitley and former Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh. BJP President Rajnath Singh is contesting from the Lucknow seat that goes to elections on Wednesday. Rai Bareli, a Congress stronghold, is also going to polls in this phase. Sonia Gandhi is the sitting MP from here. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Andhra Pradesh could play the role as one of the biggest swing states this poll season. With the formation of Telangana, parties are scrambling to take credit for it and garner as much support. 17 seats will be at stake when the region votes in 2 days' time. Here is a look at what we expect.
Lok Sabha election has now entered its last 3 phases. The coming 2 phases will be crucial for both the national alliances as their survival is at stake in Telangana and Seemandhra region. These 2 new states could pose a potential challenge to the ambition of the national parties. TRS will be a crucial factor in Telangana after its years of movement demanding bifurcation of united Andhra Pradesh. After the centre's nod, the party hopes to reap the benefits, which could also mean Congress losing its ground. In the 2009 elections, Congress won a handsome 12 seats out of the 17 that falls in Telangana. Both TRS and TDP managed only 2 each. Amim's Asaduddin Owaisi was the winner from the Hyderabad seat. With the changed political scenario, Congress will face a tough challenge from the TRS. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, the TRS chief, refused to ally with Congress for the Lok Sabha and Assembly polls. The move has left Congress out in the cold with no partners in the region. Political observers believe that pre-poll alliance between TRS and Congress could have helped the party. Congress's arch-rival BJP has struck an alliance with TDP to gain as much from the 17 seats at stake. However, it remains to be seen if TRS manages to gain big from the region that was instrumental to the formation of UPA 1 and 2 government since 2004. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for more on this, we'll go across to our correspondent, Raj Kamal Rao, who is joining us from Kurnool. Raj, the Telangana issue, is it only limited to the political parties taking credit for it? Or is there also a development agenda for the people there to vote for in these elections?
Smriti, every political party in Telangana region is trying to take credit over the formation of the state. It is true, and even the BJP, which has very minimal presence in the state of Telangana, is also pushing for the agenda of development in the state. They've allied with TDP, but TDP is that party which initially opposed the Telangana formation. So BJP-TDP alliance has a tough fight from the Congress and TRS. TRS is the original party that actually pushed forward the Telangana demand in the state. Congress party is trying to garner support purely on terms of Sonia Gandhi's gift to Telangana on her birthday, that the Telangana people got the state of New Telangana. But in fact, every political party is only garnering support purely on the basis of the formation of the state. But no talk of development, no talk of any construction projects, and no talk of any projects coming into. Irrigation is a problem, employment is a problem, and no political party seems to be talking on this issue, Smriti.
And last time, if we talk about, Congress had won 12 out of 17 seats in Telangana. Right now, with the changed political scenario, how the things are likely to shape up?
See, 2009, the situation was different. The then Congress government led by Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy never had any anti-incumbency factor. And the opposition party, including TRS, TDP and BJP, they went for a rainbow alliance, which helped the Congress to cut across the party lines and get the votes that were diverted between these two political parties. And the margins in 2009 were minimal and less compared to the 2004 elections. But this time, the scenario is completely different. Congress is fighting on its own. TRS is trying to enlarge its base in the district. Actually, it has a base only in 5 districts of 10 districts, Telangana. But they are trying to garner support in different districts like Mahbub Nagar and Medak, where the party never had any presence. But for BJP, just because they have supported the bill in Rajya Sabha, they are trying to woo the voters of Telangana that they were the only instrumental political party in granting the state of Telangana separately within a specified framework time. Sushma Swaraj in 2004 came to a rally and promised a separate state of Telangana. She has been campaigning in the state, considering and saying that they got the Telangana state for people. But before and after election, the situation will change, because every political party has to get 60 seats to sit in the assembly as the government. But at this juncture, no political party seems to be getting that much majority.
Raj, thank you so much for giving us the ground report from there. And moving on, one of the biggest names who will be in fray for the 7th phase of polling on Wednesday will be the BJP's Prime Ministerial nominee Narendra Modi. He will be contesting from Vadodara against Congress's Madhusudan Mistry. The seat is considered to be the safe one for BJP, but the locals feel if Modi gets a bigger national role to play, the region could be neglected.
Vadodara, one of the biggest and most developed cities of Gujarat. It has become the center of attention during these Lok Sabha elections because Chief Minister and BJP's Prime Ministerial candidate Narendra Modi is contesting from this seat. BJP has already fielded him from Varanasi, but sentiments of Gujarat's people compelled the party to give him a go in his home state too. The locals are confident of their Chief Minister's win, but they are worried that the region will get neglected if Modi gets a bigger role to play nationally.
बड़े नेता होने के लिए अभी वो कल जाके दिल्ली में भी जाएंगे, लेकिन यहाँ के हमारे जो स्थानिक यहाँ के जो लोकल हमारे प्रॉब्लम्स है, वहाँ से जाने के फिर ये ऐसा का वैसा ही रह जाएगा. अभी जो हमारा बॉर्डर जिस तरह से गुजर रहा है, वो नरका घर में ही रहेगा.
Vadodara Lok Sabha has 7 assembly seats with around 16 lakh voters. Out of these, 8,48,529 are male, while 7,89,020 are female voters. In 2009, BJP won 15 out of the 26 seats in the state. Congress won the remaining 11 seats. In 2012 assembly polls, BJP's tally did not change much, with 116 seats out of 182. It remains to be seen BJP can hold its ground in Gujarat. After strong showing in the last state assembly elections last year, BJP will be hoping to better the figures this time around. Pranav Goswami's report from Vadodara for Rajya Sabha Television.
And for more on this, we'll go across to our correspondent, Akhilesh Suman, who is joining us from Ahmedabad. Akhilesh, for the last 2 Lok Sabha elections, if we talk about, there has been a neck-to-neck fight between Congress and BJP. This time around, what political scenario do we see emerging in Gujarat?
Actually, see, the real scenario is going downward trend for Congress. It is a reality. But you know, there is an anti-incumbency mind also in the people because Narendra Modi is here for the last 3 terms, and whatever he has promised to the people, especially regarding the drinking water, has not reached till now. And you know, one of the major things that Narendra Modi is facing in this whole state is that voters are angry with him, but there is no alternative. You mean there are some Aam Aadmi Party candidates here and there, and that is why some of the votes, anti-BJP votes, might go to Aam Aadmi Party, and some of the Congress votes are going to Aam Aadmi Party. And in a way, you can understand that yes, Narendra Modi has managed the macro economy in a better way. That industries have come here, industries have been set up here. But microeconomic, the management to the villages, the delivery system to the villages are in a bad shape. So people are in a way not very praising Narendra Modi, but there is people. Some of the people are thinking that if Modi goes to Delhi, if Modi becomes the Prime Minister, then he may make things a bit better. So that is how things are working. But you cannot say that there is a very good situation for Congress. Congress is fighting a very hard battle here in Gujarat in this point of time, Smriti.
Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for joining us and giving us all those inputs. And moving on, in West Bengal, the focus will now shift to the southern part of the state, which is considered to be a strong bastion of the traditional rivals, TMC and the Left Front. 9 out of the 42 Lok Sabha seats will be up for grabs on Wednesday as the state goes to polls. The TMC has retained 4 of its sitting MPs in the 9 states. It hopes to further erode into left strongholds. The Left Front lost considerable ground, first in 2009 Lok Sabha polls and then in 2011 Assembly polls. In 2009, the honours were almost even for TMC and CPM in these 9 seats. Trinamool won 5 out of them. It will be a strong test for TMC. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who has a chance to emerge as a possible third largest party if it makes sizable gains in this phase. And for more on this, we'll go across to our correspondent Shyam Sundar, who is joining us from Kolkata. Shyam, southern part of West Bengal is always considered as a strong bastion for both TMC and Left Front. So this time around, how the things are changing for both the parties?
Well, Smriti, you are right that North Bengal belongs to mainly Congress party, Malda, Murshidabad and North Dinajpur. And if you talk about the southern part of the West Bengal, it's a very strong hold of the left and Trinamool both. And it's a traditional fight between Trinamool Congress and left, but in 2009, Trinamool Congress snatched many seats from Left Front, and Left Front is trying to gain the lost ground to TMC. And this time, the difference in election is that this time Trinamool Congress is not having any alliance. For the first time in Trinamool Congress in West Bengal is contesting Lok Sabha elections alone. In last elections, TMC contested elections in alliance with Congress, and before that election, Trinamool Congress was part of the NDA. So this is the first time Trinamool Congress is contesting alone Lok Sabha elections. But then Trinamool Congress is in power, and if you see last municipal elections or panchayat elections, Trinamool Congress has almost swept all the district panchayats and other elections. Yes, in some parts of West Bengal, left is able to hold its ground in panchayat elections also, but now there is a contest between left and Trinamool Congress in these 9 seats also, but there is a presence of BJP. Nobody can deny this fact, and this time it is looking like a multi-corner contest in West Bengal.
Right. Shyam, thank you so much for joining us and giving us that ground report from Kolkata. And with that, time for a very short break. We will be back with more election news. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching India Votes, and 2 days before the 7th phase of polls, the war of words between the BJP and Trinamool Congress has only got worse. All this despite fresh EC guidelines against any personal attacks during political campaigns. TMC has moved Election Commission against BJP's Narendra Modi, who had raised questions over the price of paintings by Mamata Banerjee. In a press conference today, TMC asked Modi to apologize publicly or face defamation case. However, BJP criticized Mamata's party for its remarks against its PM nominee.
Paintings were not sold for personal gain. The money for those paintings was used for good causes, as well as the money was used to fund elections, and that's why the Trinamool Congress has been, it's a priority. Electoral reforms are a priority for Trinamool Congress.
Trinamool Congress has got completely rattled because of the enormous support Narendra Modi ji and BJP is getting in Bengal. It is a resurgent BJP, and the people of Bengal who are fed up with the gross misrule of left parties and even of Trinamool Congress.
Congress and BJP are also embroiled in a bitter war of words over a video of Robert Vadra's land deal that was brought out on Sunday. A day after BJP released the video with a booklet, Congress came out strongly in defense of the party president's son-in-law. The party slammed BJP's latest move as a desperation. The video alleges how Vadra was allegedly helped in his business deals by the Gandhi family using their clout. Congress defended Vadra by terming the charges as baseless. The party said the issues have been raised in the High Court and the Supreme Court and rejected.
This is nothing but old, stale material, simply repackaged in a booklet and a video. They have not answered anything as far as the Adani crony capitalism allegations are concerned. For the first time yesterday their answer came. More importantly, it reflects the bocklahat and ghabrahat, the fear and frustration of the BJP after Ms. Priyanka Vadra has made a few statements.
जिस तरह से रॉबर्ट वाड्रा को सैकड़ों करोड़ की कमाई कराई गई है हरियाणा में और राजस्थान में जमीन के लेन देन में बिना किसी पूंजी निवेश के, हमारा सवाल बहुत सीधा है। रॉबर्ट वाड्रा ने किसी अन्य गैर कांग्रेसी राज्य में जमीन क्यों नहीं खरीदी? इस मामले की जांच होनी चाहिए।
A Bokaro court in Jharkhand rejected BJP leader Giriraj Singh's anticipatory bail plea in connection with his alleged hate speeches during campaign for the Lok Sabha polls. The court rejected the bail application 3 days after a Patna court granted him anticipatory bail in a case over the same issue. The lawyer of Giriraj Singh said that he would now move to the Jharkhand High Court for the anticipatory bail. Giriraj Singh, a former Bihar minister, had stoked controversy with his remarks against Modi's critics during an election meeting in Jharkhand's Deoghar. 3 FIRs have been filed against the BJP leader in Deoghar, Bokaro and Patna for his alleged hate speeches. And ahead of the elections in Punjab on April 30th, the authorities on Friday seized drugs worth 731 crores and 7.5 lakh litres of illicit and country liquor. The huge haul in the state once again brings into focus the problem of addiction in the state. Acting against the menace, the Punjab-Haryana High Court banned the sale of liquor on the highways. Our correspondent Deepak Dobhal has this report about how one village set the trend in fighting the problem.
A normal day in Natta village in Punjab Sangrur district. When evening falls, elders gather at the chopal. Men return from work. Children play on the streets. But that was not how things used to be, at least till some time ago. The village was then struggling with a drug problem. Matters became worse when the government allowed liquor shops to be opened in the village.
ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਗਾਉਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਗਾਉਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਹਰਖ ਕੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਤੁਰਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਨੱਤਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਨੇ ਜੁੜ ਕੇ ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਚ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਨੂੰ ਠੇਕਾ ਚੱਕਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ
Village Sarpanch Baldev Singh is not only young and educated, he is always well aware of the rights of the villagers. He started a sobriety campaign invoking Section 40 of the Punjab Panchayati Raj Act. He got the village elders to pass a proposal to shut down the liquor shops, but their effort went in vain when the government allowed the shops to reopen. The villagers were not willing to accept defeat. This time, they destroyed the liquor shops and finally force the government to bend. Today, Natta stands as a proud example for other villages of Punjab.
मैं तो यही संदेश देना चाहूँगा कि खार-पीन में से ठेका नहीं होना चाहिए, नशा मुक्त होना चाहिए पंजाब। सबको इकट्ठा होना पड़ता है तभी तो ये काम होता है, अकेले के बंदे का तो कोई काम नहीं है ना।
The village of drug addicts and alcoholics, which was once a cause of alarm, is today transformed. The very youngster who inspired fear are now heroes in the village.
सारा पिंड आदि हो गया थी, 50% आदि हो गया थी। ये नवी पंचायत सारी नवी बनी थी, थोड़ी उम्र दे मुंडे थे सारे, इन्होंने इहदे बारे सोचा भी सारा नगर खराब हो जू।
Social worker Kamal Anand has been trying to get liquor shops banned in Sangrur. He feels the example of Natta village should be replicated in other places as well. He says awareness among the youth has helped around 100 other villages to adopt the model in Punjab.
जो सरकार का रवैया है, कहने में तो वो कहते हैं कि हम नशाबंदी के फेवर में है और ड्रग्स और लिकर के खिलाफ है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी यही कहता है, परंतु असलियत में उन्होंने जो सरकार है पंजाब की, उन्होंने इस तरह का जो सिग्नल है वो लोगों को नहीं दिया।
Drug and alcohol addiction is a deep-rooted problem in Punjab. Newer forms of narcotics are pushing fresh batches of youth into stupor every year. But despite this, the government has insisted on setting an annual sales target of 34 crore liquor bottles for its vends. But villages like Natta could buck the trend and remain sober. Deepak Dobal from Sangrur for Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's all we have for you in this edition of India Votes. We'll see you again tomorrow, same time. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.